Hi everyone, this is Rosa Kelly and I am here with the last and final part to my Neverland mini album tutorial. So hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are finally gonna put it all together and see this mini album to its fullest. So as you recall, we work on the base and each one of the pages on each one of the parts. I decided to break my my tutorial this time into parts per page. That way it's easier for you guys to reference if you're working on pages 1 and 2 or 2 and 3 and 3 and 4 and 5, or just because I think it'll be easier to navigate, and also it is a lot faster to upload when my videos are under 40 minutes, under 30 minutes. So yeah, so we're going to put everything together today. I went ahead and put double-sided tape on each one of my hinges. So I think I'm probably going to switch up the order of the pages. So I think we did this one as a 1 and 2, and I think we did this one and this one. But anyway, so as I typically do after I add my paper, sometimes I change my mind and I switch it up a bit. So that's what I'm going to do today. So I don't want this to be page 1 just because Peter's kind of looking at something and I don't want him to be looking at nowhere. So if I place him like this, then he's gonna be looking on this direction, and I kind of like that better. Plus this looks really cute as the front opening of the album. So let's go ahead and add the pages, and then we're going to work on the inside covers. I just want to make sure my album is not too bulky and see how much room we have to work with. So I am peeling off just a little bit of the tape on the side. I'm going to insert these, just find your center and try to put it in. Don't go all the way against the spine, leave it a little bit off, and then we are just going to center up and down, press down here, and we're gonna take off that tape. Now I broke my tape, so I'm gonna re-grab it here, and this little tool saves my life, I'll tell you. Well, saves my life and my nails, really. Because yeah, it's really hard to keep doing this with your fingers without breaking everything or breaking your nails. So I am now going to flip this to the other side and just simply take off the tape. Now I'm gonna make sure this is pressed down and secure. Now for the next page, I was thinking on doing yeah, I don't know, maybe this one here. And you can of course keep it the same order that we did the pages. You can modify it as you wish. So yeah, so I'm just gonna add this one here, and I'm doing the same thing, peeling off a bit of the tape. Then I'm just going to take off the remaining here, and again I broke it, so maybe I can just take off this little piece with my tool. Oh goodness, this is a tough one. Okay, here we go. And now I'm just going to press down, make sure it's strong in there, and then I'm just gonna flip it and take off the tape on the back. So I'm just gonna take it out, pull this out all the way, and then we're gonna press this down. And last, I'm going to do this page here and doing the same thing. Now with this one, be a little bit careful because we have a flap here, so make sure you grab the center of the page and not that flap. Believe me, I've done that before where I glue it in here instead of the center, and I mean, there are ways to fix it, but it's just a pain to do that. So let me just do the same thing here, add the page, put this a little bit higher up. And now I'm just gonna take off this tape. There we go. And I'm gonna press this down. And then I'm gonna turn this over and take off the remaining of the tape. Here we go. So now let's see how chunky the book is after we close it. And ooh, I love it. So yeah, so it's not too chunky, and we can add a little bit of layouts on the back and the front, just not too much. Okay, so I already have a couple of ideas of what I want to do, so let's get started with the inside of the front. Okay, so since we have the Lost Boys on this side, I wanted to include Peter Pan somehow on this page, plus it's the opening page, so it is kind of important that he is here. So I'm going to use this page over here, and for this page I'm also going to be using some black envelopes, and I'm not going to use this many, but I just grab a bunch right now. So the covers measure 10 by 8, so I'm cutting this page at 9 and actually first we're going to do 7 3/4, just like that, and then I'm going to do 9 3/4. Okay, so let me just double check. Yeah, so that is the perfect size. Now I want to do a little accordion fold pocket on this side where the image is, but because I don't want to cover the image and I don't want to waste my paper, I'm just going to fuzzy cut out this image here. So number one, make sure that your envelope is bigger than the image, because we're basically are going to cut a big hole, and you want to cover the hole with your envelope. All right, so let me just cut this out. And I got a couple comments because I do the tutorials actually day by day, like this tutorial today I'm posting tomorrow and so on. So I really don't even know. When I did page 1, I didn't know what page 2 was gonna be yet when I posted. And I do read all your comments, and I kind of feed on that to see if you guys are liking it, or you know, or if you think it's too much. So I did read a comment that somebody said that they loved the album, but it was a little bit too complicated for them to try. And I do want to say something about that. I want to say that you guys should just give it a try. I mean, yes, the end result looks a little bit challenging and complicated, but if you follow the tutorial step by step, you'll be surprised to try something new, and then or with your results. And maybe don't try to do every single page. For example, if you've never done a pop-up page like this one, then just do that one and do it a couple times until you kind of master the pop-up, you know, because it will take you some trial and error maybe at the beginning, and it's okay to keep trying. Let me just quickly show you. For example, on this pop-up, I did so many trials and errors, and they're not really errors, they're just different. So I just wanted to kind of master the concept, because the only way for you to understand it is to do it a couple times. And if you really notice, these dimensions are different than these dimensions, and they're not all the same. They're actually all different because I was playing with, you know, different sizes when I score and what the results are, and they actually all kind of work. You can see my mistakes here and there, but just try it. Do one at a time. Probably don't try, maybe if you're really new, don't try every single technique at once. Just try one, master it, and then move on to the next, and you'll be surprised how much you can accomplish. And it is just, I don't know, once you do it, you will love it. So now, enough with that talking. I'm going to just ink around this paper, and I'm gonna glue this down. So now we have that down, and see how we did this little cut to be able to fussy cut around. You can't even see that. Okay, so now I'm going to use my envelopes, and I'll probably just do like 5 of those. And let me just move this to the side for a second here. I am going to first close the envelopes with your glue. I'm just gonna do that, and I'm gonna do each one. Okay. And we have done this before. If you guys have seen some of my other tutorials, it's probably not new to you. So I always try to bring something new, but also just reuse some techniques that we have previously work on. So I am just now going to take out just a little tiny piece of the envelope, just a little bit like that, and make sure that all kind of the same. I mean, I'm not measuring this or anything, but the envelopes are all the same size, and if you just take a little bit on the top, they should pretty much be all the same. Okay, so now that I have that, I'm gonna move this to the side. Make sure you have all the new openings on the same direction. Oops, this one I didn't glue on the side very well, so I'm just gonna glue it here. It just really depends also on the type of envelopes that you have, because if you have the ones that are pointed down, then you don't need to glue the sides anymore. Okay, like that one is fine. This one's fine. So this one, I just need to glue on that side, and that's fine. And then make sure your openings are also on the same side. So all your openings should be facing up. Okay, so now we're gonna build this by just grabbing one. I'm going to put my glue an inch away from the sides, kind of like that, and then just a little bit on the top and on the center. And then I'm gonna grab the next envelope and just place it right on top, and just do the same thing. And we're just going to continue. Okay, so when we're done adding the envelopes, you will find yourself with a shape that looks like that. Isn't that cool? And super easy. So now I'm just going to add my image right on top. And place this down here. So I know you guys are gonna ask me the size of these envelopes. So let me just measure them really quick. So these envelopes are 6.5. These were 6.5 by 5 probably, since I cut a little bit on the top. But again, any envelope that you have should work. All right, so now I go back into this page, and I am gonna place this kind of like that. So we're just gonna make sure it covers that hole. So I think that's how I'm going to put mine. And again, I'm just going to glue and leave an inch away from the sides. That way the last envelope can also expand. And I'm just gonna place it just like this. Okay, and I do have a bit of a black border around, and it doesn't bother me. Okay, maybe it bothers me a little bit, but if it bothers you, you can cover this first and then add the image. But I think it's fine. It shouldn't be a big deal. All right, so now we have a pocket where we can fit 5 photo mats or 5 pictures. So for that, I'm just going to be using some of my leftover cards here. I have another one. Some of these ones. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut these ones, backing them some cardstock, and put them into my envelope, and this will be some fun photo mats, and I will do that later. But since I have this little piece that I rescue from another page, I think I'm just going to add it here at this little Neverland. I don't know. I love it, but there's Peter here and there's Peter there, so maybe I shouldn't. So let me find something else here. I know I have. Okay, maybe this one here. I will fussy cut around this Neverland here. I think that's better. All right, so I'm just gonna cut this one out and add it to my page. That's the little piece. And I was thinking that instead of placing it here, because it kind of gets lost in the page, I think I'm just going to kind of put it here, sticking out a little bit. So I'm just going to glue this little part and just a little bit of the bottom and that. And I think that should be fine. I am just going to place it right there. Okay, so then it kind of sticks out a little more when you pull out the page. And yeah, all right, so now let's work on the back page. Okay, so I am going to use 3 sheets of 12 by 12 for this last page, and I am going to cut them at 9 3/4. Okay, and I will do the same to all of them. Okay, so now I'm going to place my cardstock on my scoreboard, and along the 12-inch we are going to score at 3 and at 6 and at 9. Okay, and I'm just going to quickly fold this like so. Fold this in and fold this out. All right, so we have a piece like this. Now I'm going to place this along the 9 3/4, and I am going to score at 3 inches and at 7 inches. All right, so then we have a piece that folds like that. So now I'm gonna fold this in half, just like that, and I am going to cut along my okay, so you see all the score lines. So now I'm gonna fold this in half, and I am just going to cut with my scissors from the center after we fold it in half, just these 2 score lines. I don't know if you can see it, just up until it matches with the other score line there. So I'm just going to do this, just up until there, and the same thing on this one. Just a bit more. Here we go. All right, so now we have this page. I'm gonna put this one aside for now, and I'm going to work on the second one. So for the second one, we are going to start the same way. I'm going to score at 3 and at 6 and at 9. Okay, and now I'm gonna fold these, and for this one I'm going to score at 2, at 4, at 6, and at 8. Well, let me do 6 again. Okay. And at 8. Okay, so we have quite a bit more score lines. So let's just cut this in half. I mean, not cut, sorry, fold. Long day, you guys, long day. So I'm gonna fold this in half, and I am going to cut on each one of these lines, just like we did for the first one. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and this is just a very easy way to add some interaction to your albums. I mean, it really is very simple. It's just all about the folding. So now I'm gonna fold this in like we did on the first one. Just fold along those score lines. Okay, and I'm gonna put this one aside as well, right there, my pile. And then we're gonna work on page number 3. And for this one, we're going to do the same thing. 3, 6, and 9. And I'm going to fold this over, and I'm going to score at 1. Oops. 1. Then I'm going to score at 4.5. I'm not really doing a good job scoring today. Okay, so 4.5, 5.5, and then 9. And these are just some random numbers, okay? There's nothing to it. You can score at any point, as you might have noticed. I'm just kind of doing different types of cuts, so the pages, when we open them, they all look different. So again, I'm gonna fold this on half first and just cut on the score lines, just right here, just until we get to that bending point on each one of these lines. Number 2. And see how I messed up my score? I have 2 lines, but it's okay. And that one, and then finally this last one here. Okay, and now again I'm going to fold along these 3 inches and the other side as well. Okay, so now here are my 3 pages. So let's start with the first one. So we are going to fold this in half, but we are going to push up the center. So this is the flat page, so you're going to pull up the center, and then we are going to close this like that, okay? And then we're going to press down with your little tool. So then we have a page that looks like this, and it's really hard to see on black, but there you go. So that is number 1. I'm gonna put that over there. Then I'm going to come to number 2. Now this one's probably a little bit more complicated. Well, it looks complicated, but it's not. So we're gonna push the center, the first one on the center in, and bring the second one out. See that? Then this one's gonna come out, and this one we're gonna push in. And once we have this little bending motion, we are going to close it. And we are going to have kind of like a letter E on reverse. And I'm gonna put that on the side. And then we're gonna bring the last one over. Same thing, this 1 inch we're gonna keep down, and then we're gonna push up the big one and this one, okay? And now we're gonna just fold these ones in and close this. All right, okay, so hopefully this is easy enough to follow. So now we're gonna put them together. So the way we're gonna put them together is we are going to glue this panel. I'm just gonna add some glue here, just this panel, and join it with this panel. So 1 into 2, and then we are going to join panel number, I don't know, I don't think I numbered them. So this is just the other side of number 2, and I'm going to again add glue here on this panel, and we're gonna join with the 3rd page here. So just make sure these corners are lined up. Oops, they're not. Okay, it's okay. Alrighty, okay, so that's close enough, and here we go. All right, so then we have a page that will open up like this, and it will look way better with the paper because you'll actually see what's happening. And then it opens up like that, and then it opens up like that. Okay, but we don't want to see this ugly area. So I am going to cover that up with a piece of what is this, 6 by 9 3/4. Okay, so I'm just going to add my glue on this first panel. So now you want to do these little sides as well. And I think this is the back, huh? I think I started on reverse, but anyway, it doesn't matter which one. Just do one of the sides, okay? And I'm just gonna place it right on top here. Hopefully it matches good. Perfect. Okay. So now again, I'm just gonna press this down, make it super flat. And this whole thing is going into the back of our album here. Oops. Okay, so that's gonna go there. Okay, so we are definitely going to need a closure for this page. So I'm thinking I'm using this image kind of as like a belt to fold around. And this measures 4 by 6, I think. So I'm just gonna use a piece of cardstock here, and I am going to cut this, let's say 4 1/4. Let me make sure it's just enough to cover the image here. So yeah, so 4 1/4. Okay, so I'm going to score these at 6 inches and at 6 1/2. Okay, because that page has a lot of volume, and with the pictures it's going to have even more. So I'm just gonna fold along the score lines here of this 1/2 inch, and let's see, so we are going to place this on the back. See that? So first I'm gonna grab this book, I'm going to turn this around and just glue this little panel on the back here. So make sure you only glue it on this part, don't want to go over that, okay? So I'm just gonna do that, glue this down here just to add this little belt. Okay, so see how this has a 1/2 inch gusset and it has plenty of room for this to expand. All right, so now we have that down. I am going to add a magnet, of course, to keep this down. So the magnet's gonna go here, here, and also on the back here, okay? Because I want this to be down, completely down. So I'm going to start by placing this. Actually, I'm not gonna place the magnet there. I'm going to place the magnet on this side, and let me just grab some tape and put this right down here. So here's where my magnet's going to go. Now this image I can just glue on top. I went ahead and ink all that around. They're just so cute how they're flying. Okay, so now I'm gonna turn this around and I'm gonna place the magnet there, and I'm not gonna glue it in here, but I am going to put my tape with the sticky side up. Oops, wait, like there, just like this. Okay, and then I'm going to put this where I need this to be, which is basically on the center of this page, just like that. Okay, so the magnet, well, the magnet is not secure yet. Let me see, so many layers. So okay, so I think the magnet is secure. Okay, so here's where my magnet's gonna go, and this whole thing should go right there. Okay, so now I'm going to cover this back page, and let me just take off the tape now and add this page. Now this page measures 9 3/4 by 7 3/4. Okay, so now I'm just going to simply add this as my background, and we're gonna cover most of this page, unfortunately. And now I'm gonna place this one down here. Now find where my magnet is going to catch, which is right there. So what I'm gonna do is just add glue just on this panel and then on here. Okay, so let me just show you where we're adding the glue here, and then this long panel, and then this one here on the bottom. Okay, so make sure you add plenty of glue. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back in here, and again we're gonna find where your magnet connects. It's right there. So it's very important to use strong magnets for this one because it's so thick. The one that I am using, it's quite thick. It's like a 10 by 3 type of magnet. And I actually bought these by mistake, and I don't like how bulky they are just for, you know, for normal layouts. But for things like this that need to be really strong, then they really work. So yay, our little pop-up booklet is done. So yeah, so I'm gonna cover this page with this design, and other than that we are done with the tutorial. I'm just gonna continue adding little embellishing pieces here and there, and then I'll come back with the final video tour of the book. So I really hope that you guys enjoy the tutorial. I hope that you give it a try. Please visit JS Hobbies and Crafts. The link to the store will be in the description box below. You can find this collection, many other beautiful collections as well. So I want to thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.